Patrick Stewart did an interview recently talking about, now, remember a report came out a little while ago that they said Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, not in X-Men Apocalypse, no longer in the X-Men franchise moving forward. Okay. But then, now remember, this doesn't come from Fox, this comes from Patrick Stewart. In a recent interview with Oregon Live, he said this: "What I'm very excited about is that we have been talking about a Wolverine movie, which would team Hugh Jackman and myself, Patrick Stewart, together. Wolverine and Professor Xavier. That would be a very different sort of X-Men from the movies that I've already done." So, wait a minute. So we're going to get more Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier? Are we going to see, in the latter, as the X-Men franchise moved on, they tend to hype up that relationship between Professor X and Wolverine, ending Days of Future Past really with the two of them, and they've got a special bond. This would make sense if they're going to roll into a Wolverine film, which you can set in a different time period, not a different timeline, but a different time period. I got to tell you, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if Patrick Stewart is forgetting to take his meds in the morning. I don't know. But if this is true, I got to tell you, I'm excited. I want to see this movie. I was already hyped for it. I'm super excited for this now. Amy Rose, you heard this. What do you think?
I'm thrilled. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because Professor X has always been the moral compass of Wolverine.
Right, yeah.
And then we saw that switch, and actually Wolverine took a more, anti-hero approach and was actually the one in Days of Future Past to get him back. So it just makes sense. That relationship is intricate, and there's so many different things they could explore with it. So I love it, and both of them have such charisma, and I love them in the character, and I think it'd be great. I am curious to see, if they're going to transition into Old Man Logan, and if they're going to go down. I feel like they have to, but I don't really know where they're going to go with it. But I'm thrilled about this, and I hope that he did take his meds and this is real.
Dennis,
I'm excited to see him come back too, because there's a lot of reports saying that the Days of Future Past was the last one for Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Magneto, and so this kind of refutes that. And also, they said that they might have a cameo in Apocalypse as well. So I don't know. I think it's all good news, and I want to see Patrick Stewart back.
I don't know how they would do that in Apocalypse, though, because of where
here's
they're
something
going.
Interesting. Here's another interesting thing that Patrick Stewart said in the same interview. He said, Magneto, Ian McKellen, is certainly going to be in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. What? We just heard last week that they're not.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, okay. Excitement, if it's true. Anyway, Chef,
love
all
Ian
of this.
McKellen,
What do you think?
Yeah, he's off his meds. No, I'm all for it. I love the idea of Xavier and Wolverine, of Xavier being in the Wolverine movie. I'm sure it'll be an adaptation of Old Man Logan. It won't be exactly like that comic. That comic is very extreme in a really fun way. Be very hard to make as a movie. But if they just go a little bit in that route, it would be a really fun way to end the Wolverine trilogy on a high note. And also, I think Xavier would fit in perfectly within that story context, even though he's not in that comic book per se. I don't know. I mean, it's so much conjecture and who knows what's going to happen? Maybe both of those guys will be in X-Men Apocalypse and a cameo at the end, partying or something, or maybe they're in the beginning and Apocalypse kills them, or who knows? I want
to see Professor Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, and Magneto, played by Ian McKellen, do Vegas. I want to see Professor X and Magneto in Vegas.
Well, actually, in the X-Men Days of Future Past deluxe DVD that's coming out, there's a whole 10-minute sequence where it really is just Xavier and Magneto going to save Rogue. So that's the 10-minute scene that got cut out of the movie that they are actually finishing.
Oh, so that was the big scene that they kept talking about was cut out for Rogue.
It's a big scene. It's just them hanging out on the Quinjet or whatever the jet's called. I can't remember, but it's them going on a mission. So.
I just want to go on a mission with McKellen and Stewart. They're the coolest best friends ever.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.